It's time to fire this thing up. What you're looking at is us having a whole lot of fun going extremely fast in this boat. Hey, well, good deal you made it. Hi, I'm John Graviscus. This is Cruz Rutherford. And Cruz has actually been running me around, and we've been going, what, about 75, 80 miles an hour?
Oh, absolutely, in the high 70s.
Okay. Now, you're a senior partner at Glasstream Boats, okay, and what model Glasstream are we driving around in?
This is a 2012 360 SCX.
Okay, and what is pushing this boat?
Triple 300 marks.
Okay, now, we've been having a lot of fun, but we have to now take the boat back to the marina. We have been boating in salt water, and we have to go through the task of flushing these engines. And how long would that take us if we were to use the factory-installed flushing systems on a triple-engine boat?
Probably about an hour, John.
Okay. Now, there is an alternative, and that's what we're going to be turning you on to today here at ShipShape TV. We're going to show you how to back flush a marine engine so that you're not only going to save time, but you're also going to save a lot of money on replacement parts. And if you have an IO or an inboard or an outboard or an air conditioner, for that matter, you might want to pay attention.
ShipShape TV, the world leader in boat improvement, is being brought to you in part by Sunbrella Performance Fabrics, celebrating 50 years of providing shade from the sun, long-lasting beauty, and protection from the elements. With Sunbrella on board, we've got you covered. By the high-tech, low-maintenance Evinrude E-Tech. Evinrude, spend more time on the water. And by Discount Marine Mart. Trust all your boating needs to the experts with sales, service, and expert advice. Discount Marine Mart, the official marine retailer of ShipShape TV.
Do you see these cast iron parts? They're like 400 bucks each side of the motor. And when you boat in salt water, they rot out on you every couple of years and need replacement. Ouch. Totally unnecessary. Here's how I save thousands on my cast iron engine parts for my IOs. I use the Super Flush flushing system. This device back flushes risers, manifolds, water jackets on engines like no other. So order yours by going to superflushsystems.com.
Welcome back. This is a real working 28-acre boatyard / boat building facility residing in Stuart, Florida. It's ShipShape TV's home base. Ideally located, the complex is situated on the shores of the Okeechobee Waterway, which happens to connect the Atlantic Ocean to the Gulf of Mexico. Now, once again, here's the founder and host of ShipShape TV, John Graviscus.
Thanks, Buck. We have a choice to make here today. We could either spend about an hour to flush a triple engine boat, or we can install a really awesome back flushing system called the Super Flush. And I've brought the founder of the company to join us today. This is Doug Brogdon, and hello, Doug.
Hey, John.
Why does it take about an hour to typically flush a triple engine boat? That seems like an awful lot of time.
It is a lot of time, John. It's required because the manufacturers understand that it takes 17 to 22 minutes for the thermostats to open up inside the engine and for the engines to partially fill with water.
A marine engine is cooled with raw water, okay? And when you're boating in an ocean, you got a lot of raw water available, okay? But the pump works on high water volume to cool the engine, low pressure. But when we boat in salt water, Doug, and we have to flush with fresh water, okay, we oftentimes will use a garden hose, which is a high pressure situation, but low water volume.
That's
Those
right.
two worlds don't really meet, do they?
Not well, John. Not well at all.
So there are factory flushing kits.
Well, in our experience, the factory flush systems just don't have the ability because they use a single injection point. We use 2 or 4 or even more injection points on the engine to distribute the water locally and then pressurize it and then pulse it. So what our system does is it's a top-down scenario, okay?
Okay, the other way, a garden hose and ear muffs is a bottom-up.
Bottom-up, yeah.
Okay, you're a top-down.
Right.
And so you're kind of letting gravity work for you.
We are. And as you probably have seen, when you're flushing your engine on a flush port or an earmuff, about 40 to 50 to even 60% of the water runs out of the engine and is never actually inside the engine.
Okay, what have you come up with for a triple engine scenario?
John, we built the ACS3 for the triple engine. You literally plug a water hose into the remote access panel, push a button, and in 15 minutes, we boat in the water, out of the water. It's completely flushed, and that's without running the motors. No noise, no pollution, no emissions.
So you don't run the engine?
Don't run the engine.
Now, where we're at is Blown Rocks Marina, and this is a dry stack facility. How can we ensure that the crew is actually flushing our engines when we get done boating?
Well, our systems, both the ACS3 and 2, have a maintenance log on there that literally records every engine flushing cycle, and it's available when you turn the system on. You'll see if your engine was flushed or not.
Now, this is kind of the heart of the system, everybody. This is a manifold. It's a patented device. Show us the internal working components, and how does this pressurize our garden hose to like that of the pressure of a pressure washer, okay? Because it's dramatically different.
John, it is. This technology is very advanced and has many United States and foreign patents on it. Inside here is a rotary valve with a turbine assembly on it. Water comes in here and it spins that at 1,000 RPMs roughly. So if you have 50 or 70 PSI water coming in here, you get between 11 and 12,000 high pressure, full strength pulses per minute injected into your engine, and it literally just blasts the salt, the sodium, and the nitrates out of the internal engine parts.
But it's not from the bottom up, guys. It's from the top down. And this is how you can really prevent ever having to buy exhaust manifolds or risers. It's a back flushing system. Maybe you have a heat exchange. Well, you don't have to replace these parts if you can flush them adequately. And I see that we have a little display over here with a stern drive. Show everybody how we have a proprietary, I know this is private labeled for Steyr Motors, but this is still a super flush. Show everybody how you're back flushing an engine.
Sure, John. This is Rich Alley with Steyr Motors, and he's going to take us through a brief description of how the system works.
Thank you, Doug. John, it's very simple. You connect your garden hose to your transom adapter, turn your water pressure on, water goes into the manifold, from the manifold distributed into the 4 circuits. 2 circuits go into the aftercooler, and then 2 circuits go into the heat exchanger manifold. From there, it exits the engine out the elbow, completely out the engine, flushing the raw water system.
Okay, now how much do you sell your flushing system for?
The flush system retails for around $2.99, John.
Okay, versus like replacing a heat exchanger and the labor involved in replacing a heat exchanger, what would that run a customer?
Replacing a heat exchanger could be several $1,000s.
So this is a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
There's a misguided boater. People don't realize that when they flush with earmuffs, impellers oftentimes get chewed, low water volume, and the money they burn in gas. Me, I choose Super Flush. Each Super Flush system dramatically increases water pressure from that of a hose to that of like a pressure washer. So unlike him, I get a top-to-bottom back flush that blasts away all internal corrosion, at least doubling my engine's life. Super Flush. Order now.
Welcome back. You're tuned into ShipShape TV, America's favorite boat improvement show.
What you're looking at are 3 Mercury Verado 300 horsepower engines on the back of a 36-foot Glasstream boat. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be installing a super efficient, super powerful back flushing system onto this boat so that we don't have to any longer run it on earmuffs. We're going to be able to press a button and it's going to cycle through with fresh water and effectively rinse each one of these engines. And I want to introduce you to our expert installer. This is Ken Rollman. And Ken, thank you for bringing all of this gear. Doug Brogdon from Super Flush was telling us for a triple engine boat that they make something called the ACS3. Could you show us the master control unit here?
Absolutely, John. This is the ACS3 right here. That's the master control system, and this is for your triple engine outboard application.
I see that we have some tools. Let's take everybody through the installation. Where do we begin?
Well, the first thing you want to do is find a convenient spot to put your water connection point. Now, this is where you're going to take your garden hose and plug it in when you come in when you're done boating.
Okay, so we have to drill a hole
Yes.
through the boat. This flush mount. What size hole saw would we use?
1 3/8 is appropriate.
Okay, so we do flush mount that. And do we have to kind of find a spot for the master control here?
Yeah, you want to find a good spot for the ACS3. Anywhere in the, you can find a spot in the, maybe a compartment in the cockpit or inside of the center console, even inside the bilge will be fine.
Do we need to run hose from the connector where a garden hose is coming in to the manifold on the ACS3?
Yes, we're going to run the hose as provided in the kit from the water connection point to the water connection point on the ACS3.
How do we hold the hose on? Is that with tie straps or do we use stainless steel hose clamps?
You're going to use stainless steel hose clamps, and those are all provided in the kits that come with.
Now I noticed that we have 3 of these super flush boxes right here. Is that because we have 3 outboard engines?
Yes.
Do we need 12-volt power?
Yes, you need to have access to 12-volt power. You're going to be just making a simple 12-volt connection to the ACS panel, and you're going to be splitting in the line the switch that's provided. This is the switch when you come in. You plug your garden hose up to your water connection. You push this here, takes care of the rest.
Okay, let's talk about what we have to do underneath the cowling. We've got to get rid of the cowling temporarily so that we can kind of get into some hoses on that motor. And I know that we have to cut some hoses and we have to put in some T-fittings. Is that a big deal? Do we need to kind of be worried about that?
Not at all, John. It's actually very simple to do. You get a pair of hose cutters like this one. You can find these at any local hardware store. And we provide you with the T's that are in the kit. And once you take the T out, you're able to see the 2 cutting lines right on the T. You match it up to the hose.
So that's how much hose we remove?
That's right.
Okay, and then we slide the hoses over the barb fittings, and then do we need to double clamp this?
In some applications you will double clamp it, and again all those clamps are provided in the kit.
Now there's a smaller diameter hose in the kit that will come from this end of the T-fitting, and that's what goes to the manifold. Okay, now on an outboard manifold they have 2 ports. Okay, I want to talk about an installation. A lot of guys might have stern drives.
Yes.
Okay, but the manifold doesn't have 2 ports, it has more ports on it. Could you show everybody one of those and tell us how an inboard outboard installation is a little bit different from just the outboard?
Absolutely, John. This is the SF400. This is the manifold for either an inboard or an IO system. And it's going to work just like the 200, however it does have the 2 extra ports. The 2 extra ports are, one line is going to go to each exhaust manifold, and then there's going to be one line for each block drain fill.
Okay, and this is going to get the fresh water around the thermostat housings, around our water pumps. It's going to really fill up the chamber 100% with pulsating water from the top down, and it is going to flush your engines. Now, I'm sure people at home are going to have questions. Do you have an online resource?
Absolutely, John. You go to our website, superflushsystems.com.
If you have any questions, find us and like us on Facebook. Do you see these cast iron parts? They're like 400 bucks each side of the motor. And when you boat in salt water, they rot out on you every couple of years and need replacement. Ouch. Totally unnecessary. Here's how I save thousands on my cast iron engine parts for my IOs. I use the Super Flush flushing system. This device backflushes risers, manifolds, water jackets on engines like no other. So order yours by going to superflushsystems.com.
Welcome back aboard. Fishing for boat improvement? Well, you caught it right here at Sstv.
We've spent the last couple of days installing 5 different super flushes to 3 kind of different boat and engine configurations. Welcome back. We again have Doug Brogdon, the inventor and the founder of Superflush, on the program. And Doug, you know, I'm really impressed with this technology. I've decided to outfit all of the Sstv project boats with this. It's going to save me a lot of money in parts. And here's my question. You know, you'll oftentimes kind of hear stories of somebody comes up with some technology. Maybe they can get an automobile to travel 75 miles on a single gallon of gas, okay? And then the oil company buys up that technology and they bury it. You never hear from it again. Why in the world has not a marine engine company approached you and said, hey man, let's buy up this technology, because after all, a lot of the profit of these companies will come from replacement parts. Salt water, brackish water, is very, very corrosive. Why hasn't that ever happened?
John, that did happen to us, and we took a look at the deal and we were interested in it, but when we realized they weren't going to produce and sell our product for public use, we just backed away from it, because we're boaters ourselves, and boaters deserve a chance to save money and enjoy boating.
Kudos to you, man. That is so cool. We need to thank you. We also had
John.
Ken Rollman on the program. We also had Cruz Rutherford. And who's Cruz's partner over at Glass
It's
Screen?
A.O. Kirkland, the designer of this beautiful boat behind us.
It is absolutely a stunning boat. We had that professional installer from Tampa, Superflush. Who was that?
That was Ed Dennison from Tampa Bay Superflush.
All of our friends from Loctite helped us out. Our guests who helped us with the tips from the experts. My crew worked real hard. But you know what? The most important one we need to thank here, that's right, it's been you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us right here on the beautiful edge of the marina, the water's edge, but we've got to go. But how about this? How about until we see each other again? Can you do yourself a favor? Can you get out there and make your boat ship shape? Of course you can. I'm John Graviskis, again, Doug Brogdon. We'll see you next time. Hey, come on over here. I want to see this again.
For your behind-the-scenes look of what happened to the G-Man this week on the set, find us and friend us on Facebook.
There's a misguided boater. People don't realize that when they flush with earmuffs, impellers oftentimes get chewed, low water volume, and the money they burn in gas. Me, I choose Superflush. Each Superflush system dramatically increases water pressure from that of a hose to that of like a pressure washer. So unlike him, I get a top-to-bottom backflush that blasts away all internal corrosion, at least doubling my engine's life. Superflush. Order now.